Hi, Steve.
Hi, Jim. Hey, can you smell it, Jim?
What?
It's fall. Fall is in the air. I got swimming pools they're closing. The weather's cooling down. It's it's a
Oh,
wonderful time of
oh,
year.
and the Rocktober list is out.
That's right. Happy fall, Jim.
And welcome to another episode of Two Guys Talking About Records, a vinyl community podcast where each week we two guys get together and we talk records. Lots to talk about today, and it should be a fun one regardless. But my name's Jim, and I own a record store.
And I am Steve, a record collector.
And Steve, I think it's one of my favorite times of year. I like fall, not to besmirch spring and summer. I like winter, but fall I think is my favorite simply because the weather is getting cooler. It's not terribly cold yet. But yeah, your work is slowing down a little bit, you said, with the pools.
Hmm.
Mine's picking
Yep.
up a little bit with the back to school. The college is back here in Midland, and
Yeah.
we're getting a few more folks. But yeah, the Record Store Day Black Friday list, I'm getting questions on that already. And no, not
Of
yet. I meant to
course.
look up when, but soon, soon. But this other list, this Rocktober list, is something that's gaining a lot of ground with Rhino. I mean, the past couple of years, between the Rocktober event and then the January one, the Start Your Ear Off Right, Rhino's been making some noise and folks are taking notice.
Yeah, it had, and it gets bigger and bigger. And it's amazing that they're able to get, the rights to do all these albums. There's got to be a lot of work and everything's involved with this. But yeah, I was surprised how big the list is this year.
Me too, but I have some reservations on it, and I think we'll dive into that. So today on the episode today, we'll dive into that Rocktober list and give you some thoughts from two old guys that are maybe they're not as impressed with the Rocktober list as we've been with the other Rhino stuff, but that's neither here nor there. But
Nope.
also another big issue that popped up and then it had to be addressed by the record seller community almost immediately. And this is a big one for us to get into also is the talk of this deadline. It's not quite tariffs, but it's not quite customs, but there was a big scare about the new rules here in the US affecting record sales coming in from overseas.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, there's just a lot of confusion out there. What does it mean? It isn't like the government's going to go, and by the way, record collectors, here's what you have to know.
And I know that there was a big scare earlier in the week, and then Discogs said, "Oh wait, hold on, everybody, just kind of take a chill pill." We'll get into that one as well here in a little bit. But first, as we do each and every week here on the podcast, we like to talk about our additions to the collection. I have got just I've got a wild one today at the
All
tail end
right.
of one big one as well. But we'll get into those. But how did you do this week, sir? Did you pick up some goodies?
I did just when I swear to God, I've been to every record store in Denver. I find another one that I haven't been to. Now this one's been around for 10 years, for God's sakes,
I
but
saw that on
didn't know
your
about it.
channel this morning. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, here we go. And I picked up a couple albums there, and I have that store tour later this week. But uh, this is a Liars album, third or fourth Liars. The Boston garage rock band who takes a Vox organ and makes it sound super super cool. Uh, they even made a little cartoon on here about making out in a hotel room, the band. So very interesting. But I'm a big fan of the Liars. Their first two albums to me are extreme important, even the first three. This is still really good, but the first album's by far I like the best.
And we should point out
Uh,
that's Liars, Lyers, for those that are listening, if you're looking
yes,
for that.
yes. This was the big one found on the wall. And you're going to like some of
Uh
this.
oh.
Look at that. It's a radio station.
Cool.
How
It's got the
about that?
timing strip.
Yep. But a Marva Whitney. It's my thing. Now, have you heard of Marva Whitney?
I have not, no.
Me neither, but a lot of people have. This is like a female James Brown. In fact, James Brown produces this album. He sings on a track or two, and this is funk. This is, the funky James Brown. This is hard funk. And you have that James Brown backbeat going on in there. I mean, you could just see Brown man, he brought in his band and they're just backing her. And it's wild.
Huh.
This is awesome. It was just sitting on the wall. And I go, oh, what is that? As you know, I like to do. And
Hmm.
I go, he goes, put it on, and just within the first few, in less than a minute, I go, God, I gotta have that. That is awesome. It's
Very
not a
cool.
cheap record, but it's super funky. So yeah,
Marva.
Marva Whitney. It's My Thing. And yes, we have It's My Thing Part 1 and It's My Thing Part 2. There's a James Brown, so
What's
just
also
like him.
cool too, and when you get it's not necessarily a promo copy unless the labels are a white label promo, but whenever you get
Mhm.
one that has that radio station timing strip on the front, it's a cool find in my book. Especially, and that one doesn't look like it's marked up at all, because normally radio
No, it's
stations will
not.
get that. They'll mark, play this, don't play this. They'll write notes on it for the DJs
Mhm.
back then, but it's neat to find a clean timing strip on something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, very clean. I brought this in. You had shown they were reissuing this album, and then I went on. I thought, man, I'm just gonna get an original. That was of the Rain Parade,
Oh yeah, he had to get
and
one.
Crashing. Yeah, had to get one. Crashing Dream. It's their third album. Rain Parade. I have their first couple albums. Very much Paisley Underground. On this album, they are starting to move more alt rock. There is still some jangly guitars, some of that Paisley Underground feel, but it's a little more rocking
Okay.
than the first two albums. So it is changing. An original is pretty inexpensive to get. Yeah, it didn't sell that well for them. But they were kind of a niche thing, with the Paisley
I
Underground.
see that one's even got the gold promo stamp on the front too. So,
Yes, it
and it's
does.
a
Yes, it
cutout.
does. Yep. No, actually, it looks like a cutout, but
Oh, that's the
it's not.
top corner. Okay, then.
Yeah, it's the top corner. How about that? Uh, then, uh, a channel out of Norway, which I watch all the time. Uh, he's we text back and forth here and there. Morten Astad, he showed this, uh, and the Beta Band, the
Oh
three
yes,
LPs. Yeah, because it has Dry Rain, and for anybody who's watched that, what's the freaking name of that
high
movie?
fidelity.
High Fidelity.
That's
Thank
right.
you. It's the famous scene where the guy Cusack goes, "Watch this," and they drop that on there, and everyone in there starts doing
I'm
this.
going to
I
sell
mean,
three
and you can't
copies of
help
that.
it. Yep. Yeah, it is just the best. And it is what record stores do so well, at least when I'm in there, because I'm one of those guys that go, God, that is cool. I need to have that.
Hey,
And
it's
this
a
has
plot on
no,
our part. We try to play the stuff we think the customers are. I'm going to buy that off the
you
table.
bet it is. It's a hell of a plot. And I have been looking for this. I've had it in CD, but
Hmm.
I've been trying to find it in vinyl. And it's just, you know, what's out there is going to cost you tons of money. So when this came out, I was shocked because it's been years I've been hoping to get a vinyl copy of this
Wow, was that a
and
recent
haven't
reissue or
found
is
it.
that an older one?
Yes, real recent
Yeah,
reissue,
I remember
just was reissued.
you had texted me
I
looking
asked you
for it.
about
Yeah,
it.
and I couldn't get them. They
Yeah,
were all
and you said,
out of stock.
yeah, and so I got this off Platinum Records. They had it, and
Cool.
uh, yeah, it was like, oh my god, I have to have this because I've been looking and it's been selling out. So
Yep.
excited to have that.
I don't have any beta band stuff other than digital. Obviously I've got the high fidelity soundtrack with Dry the Rain on there.
Yeah.
But I've got a YouTube, yeah, I know, a YouTube playlist, not Spotify, sorry, but a YouTube playlist of videos that I'll go to and play a mix once in a while. And there's a couple of beta band songs in there as well. And I dig them, but yeah, it's cool finding a vinyl copy of that.
Yeah, yeah, that was a long search. Finally,
Cool.
now I'm okay.
Congrats.
And I went to Barnes and Noble. They were doing some clearance on a few albums, so I bought crap I don't need.
Okay.
It was,
We
it
need to
was
call
like
Dr.
half
Dave back.
price.
We need to call Dr. Dave
Yeah,
back.
exactly. These are $20 albums. They were looking like for $40 or so for them there. So the new pornographers. This was the album that came out in 2023. I have a couple new pornographers from the early aughts. It's Nico Case is their lead singer. I really like Nico Case, but I have not had a chance to listen to it yet. And this is Continue as a Guest. New pornographers Continue as a Guest. Did I need it? Of course not. Then we have Gary Clark Jr., and this is JPEG Raw. And, kind of blues and rock, his EP when it first came out was really good. That Gary Clark Jr. And I liked it, but I've never pursued him, with his other music. So this was over, was gee whiz, about $25 off. So I thought, let's just see what it sounds like.
Cool.
If I don't like him, I can just be part of the purge.
There you go.
And then the final one, which I'm still shaking my head about, but I bought it because it was $20. That was it. But Tori Amos, it's under the Pink. And I thought this was the one that had her Dear God song on there, but it wasn't. I know this is a highly respected Tori Amos. I used to have it on CD. And so I thought I'll get it and try it again. I had a lot of her CDs, but it was just I had a lot of her CDs. And how often you play them? Well, greatest hits kind of a thing. But got into the let's just give it a shot. So I kind of shook my head on this one, but I have, I'll play it and maybe I'll really like what I hear. Some people absolutely love her. So we'll find out. So Barnes & Noble had quite a few albums at $20. Then eventually they go 75% off and then down to $5. But just got to be there at the right time. And I hadn't checked Barnes & Noble all summer.
Yeah,
so
I've not been to one in a while, but last time I did, I was kind of a little bit amazed at how much less of, at least here in Midland, how much less of a vinyl stock they have. They used to have, tables and tables that would make me a little jealous, and now you've got one little shelf, and they're packed in there so damn tight that you don't want to touch them too much because it looks out.
And the one in Midland, the where the vinyl was, it's now toys.
Yep.
And half of the Barnes and Noble I went into was like Toys R Us. I was like, well, I guess print is dead after all.
There you go. Physical. Those are cool. You got another one, or is that it for your pickups?
That's it. That's all.
Very cool stuff. Not too much on my part. One nice one big one, and one wild one. Just starting off, I picked up a copy of Heart, Little Queen. I don't have much Heart in the collection, but this was a really nice copy. Of course, it's got Barracuda on here again and Little Queen. Mm-hmm. Some great stuff. This one was, when was that originally again? I forget. Hold on a second. I'll see if I can find my
74, 75
my notes on that. Yes. Around about there. 77 is when that came. Let me make sure that this isn't a reissue. Yeah, 77 is when this came out originally. So not much. It's a really nice looking copy, and it's got some of their best earlier, harder guitar work and such on here. So
yeah,
good pickup. All right, here's the big one.
Once Hart found the power ballads, it's like
you get into the top 40 stuff into the early 80s too, and it's like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's radio friendly hits, but
and it made them $1 million, millions of dollars. So good for them. That's okay.
The other day at the store, we had somebody come in and they brought me let me look over there, like 6 or 7 box sets coming in. Actually, I'm not much of a box set guy. The only box sets I really have are some Floyd and some of the Anniversary Rush, obviously, for example. Yeah. I've got those.
Me neither.
No box sets whatsoever. And the Bob Mold series. We've got those as you do too. So they came in, and I'm going to turn them around in the store and get them moved out. But there was one that caught my eye. whenever we talk about, and we did the Ozzy stuff, but we talked about heavy metal, and I go back to my early 80s heavy metal days, and one of the albums, one of my formative ones, was from the 70s, was Black Sabbath's Volume 4. So this was amongst them, the Black Sabbath Super Deluxe box set, Volume 4 from 2021, I believe is when this came out. And let me get over to that one again here. Yeah, 2021. It's just a huge box set with a book. Lots of cool stuff. So in this, you have got, let me click back on this, you've got the original album. And okay, I get it. You did the box set, but they've had to put the original album because they're going to identify each of these. I got it. And I've got a good copy of this. This is a 2021 remastering of the original album, single LP. But then you get into the goodies, and then the second piece of vinyl inside is the outtakes and new mixes of most of the songs off if you're alternative mixes. It also has false starts and studio dialogue, so you can get to hear Ozzy getting angry, I'm assuming, on here. But these mixes were done by Steven Wilson, I believe, is what I'd read on the Discog side of things. LP2 and LP3 recorded at the plant in 72 in Los Angeles, mixed from the analog tapes by Steven Wilson in February of 2020. So, yeah, there's some cool stuff on there. And then you get into the third one, same thing. Alternative takes, false starts, and more studio dialogue, remixed by Steven Wilson. Then the final one, a double LP live in the UK from 1977, where they perform much of the album and a couple of the other ones off of Paranoid, doing the live stuff. So very cool stuff. Then the box set rounds itself out, of course, was box set should, with a big old poster and then a hardcover book of Black Sabbath Volume 4 through here. So this one, I remember when that was released, and again, not a big box set guy, but this is one of my favorite Sabbath albums. So when it came in on a trade, I did my little math and said, okay, I can make my money back on the other stuff. I think I'll keep this one at least for a while and see. So cool. Mm-hmm. All right, now finally, you know what I mentioned at the end of each of our pickups each week, Steve, is that I'll put together a Spotify playlist of all of these that we can find. Not all of them are in there, but we'll put together the Spotify playlist so folks can listen in on the stuff that we're talking about here as well. I don't think I'm going to find this next one. Where did I put it here? Okay. Let's see here. Oh boy. It's got an interesting, it's a gatefold. And let me call this up a little closer before I ask you here. It's called the Chewbops. Hit Pops, Chew Pops. Have you ever heard of anything like this?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, I haven't either, Steve. When I open this up, these are bubblegum mini albums from the early 80s. Bubblegum, actually not bubblegum pop, but actual bubblegum collector, like the old baseball cards bubblegum.
Oh.
And it's a collectible album. Let me call up my Chewbop. I got some information on Chewbops here that I wanted to share because I looked this up and it was just, it's absolutely amazing. They're a series of miniature record-shaped bubblegum packages with collectible, there's a Rush one, with collectible album covers released by a place called Amaral Products Company in the early 1980s. Each of them a 3-inch square package containing a stick of bubblegum inside a miniature album cover, often featuring lyrics and artist information on the back. It included major artists like Elvis, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. Collectors could purchase and display albums, and you could buy the gatefold to house their miniature record collections. Let me zoom in on this. So this is the Rush 3-inch mini one, and inside this showed up in a box of albums at the store. We've got eight Elvis ones, and then on the other side, everything from Steve Winwood, Air Supply, Judas Priest on there, the Police, Jefferson Starship or Airplane. No, it's Starship on there as well. Yep, Loverboy, Juice Newton, and then the Rush one. So, immediately I'm like, oh man, I should start looking for more of these things.
Yeah, that's neat.
I need to find more. And so I go looking for the Chewbop stuff, and let me find this one here. The Chewbops is no, I'm playing with this new system, Steve. Sorry. Okay, I found a Chewbops website that looks like it was an old MySpace site from the 90s that I don't know if it's a fan site or he's selling him, but there's a lot of stuff on here talking about the Chewbops. But then further down, it says this site is temporarily not taking orders due to health issues of the owner. But again, the website looks like it's over 10 years old, so he could have just disappeared. These things, I do see them out there, for example, on on eBay and such. And they're not cheap. If you get one of these album covers, I saw like one that was full of all Elvis that was in the triple digits. But
Wow.
you can still buy some of these individual ones, and there's other Rush ones that I'm thinking I would get as well. I'm not
So didn't Hanson do a song about that? Chew bop, chew chew
close.
chew 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 bop.
Close.
Chew it all now.
The one
Yeah.
thing though is that I'm not going to do is open up. These are all sealed, by the way, so the bubble gum is still inside
Oh,
at 40 years old. I did find a video on YouTube of a dude who had one of these, and he opened them up to taste the bubble gum. He spit it out pretty much. It just kind of turned to powder in his mouth, I believe.
well,
But
that was kind of my question. I think everyone wanted to know how to taste, and you're not going to do it.
I don't think I'm going to do it, but you never know. Ingredients: sugar, gum-based corn syrup, softeners, artificial flavor, certified color. So, I mean, this is pre all of the chemicals that went in, but still, you're
Yeah.
talking 40-year-old bubble gum in
Yeah.
this case.
So in the comments below, people, if you want to see Jim
Oh
chew some
no.
of that live on one of our broadcasts, please put that in the comments.
Would have to. I don't know. Maybe I will open up we'll open up the Juice Newton and see. It'd be like a juicy fruit and try that
It'd
one.
be juicy. Yeah, exactly.
But you know how when I get collections,
That's
even
cool.
small ones come in. This was a moderate sized collection of a few hundred
Yeah.
albums, and I pull the cover out and I look at this. And I'm like, what is this? And then I look in the back, and it's got the English description. It's got Spanish. It's got Japanese, French, and Deutsch on the back as far as
Hmm.
describing what's inside on this. So I'm looking at this, a Chewbops, and I did that same thing. Bops, what is that? And open it up, and
Yeah,
then there's bubblegum, sealed bubblegum in there. I'll be damned.
that's
That is a
cool.
cool find. I'm going to keep it, and I might attempt to seek out other individual ones and move some of the Elvis out of there and see if I can do something with those. But there's two or three other Rush album ones that's very cool.
What? They did not have all the Rush in there? What is wrong with that person?
Well, this is the 80s, so we
Yeah.
didn't have some of the other ones. But okay, yeah, maybe I'll get brave enough to open one of those up. We'll see what happens. So again, folks, you're not going to get a Chewbops sound sample, but we'll look to put the other ones together. Look for that Spotify playlist. It'll be in the description of both the YouTube episode and the Spotify episode, so you can click on that and listen in on some of this stuff as well. So there was one other new release you had asked me about. You were curious about something?
Yeah, that Carpenter gal with
Sabrina
the
Carpenter,
Sabrina
the new
Carpenter.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, I popped up some of her videos, and she makes it is very catchy music. Um, and then we got a cover like this. It's like, but in her videos, she kills all the guys. So whatever, that guy's going to be dead. I mean,
But you're
they're
you're
violent,
digging
man.
some of the music. Now this was a
It is.
tremendously anticipated release, so much so that our distributors had classified, it wasn't the distributors, the label classified it as a high security release, like they do with the Taylor Swift stuff, meaning that they send it out separately. It's shipped completely separately from all of our regular orders.
Yeah.
So it shows up to time the day before so that nobody is tempted to sell it early. So
Wow.
and there's been listening parties. We didn't do one for this one, but a
Hmm.
lot of buzz around it. But I've not sold many. I've got a few of these still in stock. So if you need one,
Yeah.
we'll talk.
It's catchy. I mean, she
Okay.
really knows how to have a hook in there. I think there's some auto tuning going on, but if anybody just check out her videos because they're the most violent, graphic videos I've ever seen. Here's this hot chick going around, just I got a machete, man. I'm going like, oh my god!
There is, I guess she's borrowing another page from Taylor Swift, and there's multiple variants of this out there. And I think that
Of
they announced
course,
as well that I think there's like 9 different color variants and a couple of covers, but Next week or so, I've got another cover, an alternate cover coming on the way with pink vinyl. But this cover, by the way, when I first saw it in the pre-sales, a month or two back, I thought they're familiar on there too. In the movie Spinal Tap, which the sequel to Spinal Tap is coming out, I think in the next week or two, they're reissuing all the first two Spinal Tap albums, the soundtrack, and then Break Like Wind, and then the new soundtrack is going to be the week after that from Spinal Tap. Whole nother story about my feelings about them doing another sequel, but that's neither here nor there at the moment. But the original Spinal Tap, if you think back to the movie, when they had their album released and it came out and it was all black and they said, oh, there's none more black on the cover, it's because the retailers like Kmart had threatened to boycott it because they put a half-naked woman on all fours with a man holding a leash around her neck and shoving a glove in. The name of the album technically in the film was Smell the Glove. So they get banned. Spinal Tap gets banned for showing something like that, and Sabrina Carpenter gets 9 different covers.
Yep.
Showing something very similar to that. So
Yeah, and feminists around the world are going, what are you thinking, man? But jeez.
well,
Wow.
we'll watch the alternate covers and we'll talk to see if you need one of these added to your collection. How's that?
It is catchy, man. Really, I was surprised. I was like, God, that is just those are hooks.
Yep. Okay, I'll give it a listen to. I haven't, and I should have. To be a good record store owner, I
Yep.
should be listening to the hot stuff that's coming out so I can speak
Uh-huh.
effectively toward it on a podcast like
Yeah.
this.
That's right. You can't get every 12-year-old to buy a Rush album,
No,
Jim. Once in a while, they want something new.
all right. I'm with you on that. When you do get this, though, if I can't get you one, make sure that you try to order it from a domestic U.S. shipper. Because otherwise, Steve, you may not get it.
That's right. It may just get held up.
So earlier this week, Steve texted. He dropped me a little text and said, "Hey, there's like something going on with a deadline at the end of August. The U.S. is passing some new tariff rules coming out of the government, and well, go ahead. You explain what was the initial scare regarding this announcement."
With initial scare in the past, tariffs, if it was $800 or over, you would put on tariffs. But now suddenly the rule is no, it's going to be all the way down to $100.
Yep.
And we're going to start putting tariffs on everything. And so you think about some of these imports, especially Japanese imports of that, or people who buy kind of more quantity of it, so it easily goes over $100. What is that going to do? How much more expensive is this going to become? Was my thoughts. I mean, there's people, store owners that buy a lot of that stuff
Yep.
to bring in. And myself, I buy overseas a number of times. In fact, Fuzz Club, I just got in a Fuzz Club release. It comes from the UK. What's going to happen now? That was under $100, so that's probably okay. But yeah, is it going to affect what we can get?
So after that initial, what the heck is this? We did some research and I looked up online. Japan primarily is where that was coming from. And it was an announcement from Japan Post, which is their equivalent to our post office, but the government run delivery, not like the UPS or FedEx. And there's a different one in Japan that does shipping as well. But Japan Post, the announcement is that they were stopping shipments of pretty much everything to the U.S. until this was worked out. And that's where the initial, oh my God, what does this mean for anybody, not just record collectors, but people who regularly get post from Japan coming through. But then what I'd found was that it's only going to affect things that are over $100. That could be subject not necessarily to a tariff, but to some customs rules going back to what you alluded to with that rule. But case in point, like you said, if you're ordering vinyl from Japan, let's say even on Discogs, and there's a Japanese seller, that could easily tip $100 because you're getting some quality stuff, especially some of the collectible stuff coming out of Japan.
Yeah.
So does that then mean that you have to not get something because it's trying to go through Japan Post or go through a secondary shipper, which the costs increase greatly? So you could still get it, but you're going to be paying 3 times, maybe as much more, just to get something from overseas. And that, I think, was an initial panic that a lot of folks felt when somebody realized that this deadline was forthcoming.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I hear there's other stuff people buy from overseas. I don't know about that. I just thought people only buy records
Only records.
from overseas. Yeah, it's a kind of shock when I hear what there's we buy other things overseas. Wow, how about that?
So, in the midst of all of this, what the heck are we going to do? Panic as far as anything that's over $100. And initially, then too, it was like, well, don't worry, don't worry. If it's under $100 coming from Japan, then you don't have to worry too much about anything. It's like, well, guess what? There's a lot that are over. So later in the week, in swoops Discogs, and you can tell, you can always tell when there's a major event brewing that Discogs
Mhm.
sends out not only an email, but they post on their blog and they post on their website to try to get ahead of an issue to say, hey, wait a minute, folks, there's not that much to worry about. So if you've not seen this yet, folks, if you are a Discogs user and you have your email, check your email with that because you're going to get a message from Discogs. Or if you go to the Discogs website, you will see. Let me call this one up here. Discogs posted this on their website as well. They tried to get ahead of this and say it's not as bad as we think it is because the U.S. tariff situation and how it relates to customs as well is not quite what you think it is. Yes, it's happening, but it's not going to affect us tremendously. Now, I sent you that letter. Did you get a chance to go through it too, Steve?
Yeah, yeah, I did that on the
The
phone.
I've got the website called up here from Discogs, so let me
Hmm.
find it on my new system here as I attempt to navigate my way around. But yeah, Discogs sent out a big notice saying that everything that we know about the U.S. tariff situation and how it affects the Discogs community. And they start off by saying, we understand there's a lot of confusion surrounding new tariffs by the executive orders in the United States. They're going to do their best to clear things up. Your access as a seller, collector, or both is important. Here's what we know so far. And they start right off the top by saying, well, no, there's an update. This guide was originally published on August 27, since been updated with the latest information about the developing tariff situation.
Hmm.
Discogs will continue to add new details as we learn more. But right off the bat, they say that records and other physical media, this is the questioning part, should be exempt. Should. That doesn't
Should
fill
be.
me with a lot of confidence, Steve.
Yeah. No. Famous words.
It does. But yeah, basically, the ruling states that vinyl records, CDs, cassettes, and other recorded media should be exempt from any tariffs under the new U.S. presidential executive order. The executive order went into effect on August 29, removes something called a long-standing de minimis tariff exemption from most goods valued under $800. However, this charge does not apply to what is being called, quote, informational materials like music media, which are still exempt under tariffs or from tariffs under U.S. Law 50 U.S.C. 1702. So, on August 28th, Discogs was able to get the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, customs that is under their purview. They confirmed the exemption in its e commerce frequently asked questions, stating that duty free de minimis treatment shall remain available for goods covered under 50 USC 1702, such as certain donations and, quote, informational materials. So, simply put, music and informational media have always been exempt from tariffs and continue to be so at this time. This means that neither sellers nor collectors on Discogs should be charged additional customs fees. And then they say, however, we can't guarantee how U.S. Customs and each postal carrier will implement these exemptions.
Hmm.
So
That's chaotic.
it's tremendous. I mean, it does clear up a little bit, but to me, that still sows a lot of confusion and a lot of, well, I got to be perfectly honest here. There's going to be some sellers that are going to say, well, I'm going to slap a customs fee, a tariff fee, 10 extra bucks
Hmm.
on there.
Yeah.
Discogs attempts to address that in the rest of their letter. Be prepared for potential delays and complications, they say. Taxes and
Yeah.
duties are challenging to navigate. Recommendations for sellers provide clear descriptions. Use the correct codes as you go through there. And they want they want buyers to be paying attention, what to do if you're incorrectly charged. So buyers are going to adjust. So this is a very fluid situation, Steve. And I think that the
Hmm.
confusion is going to reign through on this. But Discogs, to their credit, has tried to get out ahead of that and calm a little bit of these fears by saying that these should be exempt.
Yes, should be.
Should be.
And it is kind of interesting when they said, it kind of depends on the post office or whoever, how they interpret this.
Yes.
Well, I mean, can anybody just slap it on a tariff? Ah, here, I got that tariff, that thing. Okay.
Well, in some buyers too may have heard the initial scare and then not paid attention to the clarifications or checked their Discogs messages and say, "Oh wow, that record just went up by $20. Tariffs. Oh well." And so we kind of need to
Yeah.
pay attention. Interesting side point to this though too. I've mentioned this before on the podcast that I stopped selling on Discogs like probably 2 years ago now because of their increased fees and their partnership fee that they kicked in with PayPal. It was over like 20%, and it just wasn't worth it. I may go back to selling on Discogs someday. I'm not currently thinking about it, but that may happen. But when I started selling on Discogs, even before I opened the record store, and this is not so much an interpretation from a carrier, but from a post office, an individual post office, to a different branch post office just in our area. I took some records to my local, the closer one to where I live, and said I'd like media mail to mail these out media mail. And the person in charge, the manager, the postmaster, whatever,
Yeah.
refused. I think I've told you this story.
Yeah.
They said, no, records are not covered under media mail. Media mail had typically always been called, like historically, a book rate. You get a reduced rate to send informational materials through the U.S. Post Office. Record sellers have interpreted that to being, okay, this is informational material, it's recorded material, it counts. This particular post office said, no, it doesn't. So I came here to the one in Midland where the store is closer now. They've got no problem with it. So you mentioned in different interpretations of that could end up differently as well.
Yeah. And there's a classic case, just two post offices right by each other. One going one way, one goes the other.
Well, the post office that turned me down has missed out on literally thousands of dollars of shipping fees that don't go on their records, but do go into the bigger Midland post office that have been doing, working with me now for, 9 years, 10 years on selling records and shipping records.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess what we can say about this current issue with the tariffs versus customs is make sure if you're a buyer, keep check, right? Check carefully on what you're paying for and look for those hidden fees. And if you're a seller, do your best to maintain that latest information. Discogs is working hard to make sure that everybody's up to date on this, but it's a weird situation.
Yep. Unknown waters
Yes.
we are sailing into.
And we're just looking at our little.
It should be okay.
It should be. There's the operative word. Should be okay. And this again, it comes back down to a very fluid situation. We think in our little corner of the universe, this is the stuff that gets important and we pay attention to. But this is affecting, as you said, a lot more than just records coming in from Japan and China and then Europe. They're all kind of struggling with these rules that seem like they're always in flux.
Mm-hmm. And someone has to pay for it, and it's usually you and me.
Yes, it's the end customer because the business has to just pass that on.
Yep.
Okay. Do you think? Would that scare you off of buying more stuff from Japan, or you feel a little more comfortable having Discogs try to calm our fears?
I'm glad they addressed it. I think that was smart on their part. I know I will look carefully because if I see something pop in there on that, I will probably cancel it because postage itself when you bring from overseas in some cases already is so much. I mean, there's certain countries. UK's getting hard to buy. There's very high. Germany's not too bad. But I look and it's okay, which countries have it, and then I'm looking at the shipping, what's affordable.
If you folks,
it's tough.
Yeah, if you folks want more information on this, if you head over to the Discogs website, they have this linked at the very top of their page, and they've got a pop-up that says they address the tariff issue, and you can read through everything that we started reading through, and then all the way on the bottom, they've got an FAQ section that helps you understand this. What is a tariff? What does de minimis mean? How do tariffs apply to records and such? And how does Discogs come to these conclusions? So they're covering themselves on this, I think, very, very well to help out folks and see what's going on. So,
Yep.
Okay, shall we talk about something a little more fun now?
Well,
You
let's
want to?
get into it. It's pumpkin spice
It's
time.
pumpkin
Oh,
spice
and
time.
yeah, in fact, you're look at that. You're in a pumpkin spice T-shirt.
Oh, this is my Canadian Moving Pictures T-shirt, but I get what you're saying there, Steve. It's Rocktober.
Yeah.
This is the other
Yes.
list that comes out that folks have always been kind of looking forward to. The Record Store Day Black Friday list is forthcoming. When that hits, we'll let you know, and we'll talk in depth about that as well. As it's usually one of our bigger episodes, and we cover the Record Store Day stuff. But a lot of
Mhm.
folks have been getting excited when Rhino does this. They do, as I mentioned in January, with the Start Your Ear Off Right stuff, with a slew of releases that are timed to come out every Friday throughout the month. Then they do the October one, Rocktober, where they time these releases to come out throughout the month as well. Some of them make it in time, some of them don't. I mean, it's very ambitious.
Yeah.
In years past, the Rocktober is, and they're all reissues. I think we should state that right up front. They're reissues of popular albums, but the trick for Rhino at this point is to make them more attractive for us collectors who may already have these to want to get. So they've got to
Yeah.
do some trickery to them, colored vinyl, added bonuses to make them something that we want to add into our collection. This year's
Yeah.
list,
You got. Yeah. You have to throw out that hook to kind of get you
yeah.
catch you.
So this was popped. I know a couple of other channels are covering them. Steve, I think we've got a little time. We can dive into this list a little more in depth. I've got a little document I'll call up next to us that has these descriptions. I think I sent that to you as well. So
Yep.
what right off the bat though, let's your overall summary of the list. Is it something that you're really excited about, or like me, are you eh,
My overall summary of it was, well, I guess I won't be spending a lot of extra money. So that was okay. I mean, there's some interesting titles, but a lot of it's just kind of like, do I need it or not? And yeah, it depends on the groups. And also, I was very disappointed that Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is not put on this.
they have
Just because it's been on like 10 times already this year and everything else. Why not throw that on there too? But
why not?
I yeah, there are some interesting albums that I would actually check out to see, hey, do I want this or not? But then some of this other stuff I can find in bargain bins and get for an original, you know,
You
for an original.
right off the bat, and I've got the list that we're looking at here separated by release date. So it's by release date and then alphabetical. So right off on the 3rd of October, we're starting off with a Black Sabbath live. We sold our souls to rock and roll. Oh, no, it's the greatest hits. I'm sorry, not live. It's the compilation that has been out released originally in '76. Features all of the biggest hits up to that point: Iron Man, Paranoid, War Pigs. Since if I remember right, we sold our souls is pretty much Ozzy stuff. So
Yeah.
this one is translucent green vinyl, and that's about it. The one that's kind of baffling to me, and he's in the news lately, and I get it. David Lee Roth. A lot of folks have some affinity for the older Van Halen stuff and into the solo David Lee Roth. But here we have a box set, the Warner Recordings
Yeah.
1985 through 1994 5 LP box set from David Lee Roth, featuring his first 5 solo releases. Um, yeah, Crazy from the
I
Heat,
think
Eat 'em and Smile, Skyscraper, A Little Ain't Enough, and Your Filthy Little Mouth from 1994 in succession.
I think you could find a lot. Again, I think you could build that box set in bargain bins.
Pretty
I,
much,
I mean, I also,
yes. I don't know about the '90s stuff. A Little Ain't Enough and Your Filthy Little Mouth. I've never seen. They may exist on
yeah,
vinyl, but it's going to be kind of rare. But yeah, Crazy from the
yeah.
Heat. It's usually an EP. It's in my $2-3 if anything. We see them in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it goes for a big price too. So
it
for
does.
those
Oh,
5 LPs.
$125. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
That's a decent heft. Let's
Now
see.
now that Black Sabbath went for a good price. I mean, that was for a 2 LP set. That
Yeah,
actually was a really
yeah.
good price.
$35 isn't bad. Yep, at all. For a double LP, you're right. There is.
Yeah.
Um, Ones I'm not quite certain. Death from Above from '79.
I don't know.
Canadian duo
I
Death
don't
from.
know
I'm
that
not
one.
familiar to tell you the truth. I should be probably.
You're a woman and I'm a machine. Okay. Um, no idea.
So this Deep Purple is another interesting one. They just released a big box set, like in the $250 range, expanded of Deep Purple's Made in Japan, remixed by Steven Wilson. That is
Mhm.
out, and it's a huge price, but now they're putting out a $35 double LP, the 2025 remix of the classic live album done by Steven Wilson. So that's going to be a good one too, and it's not that huge expanded box set that folks have to pay out the nose for.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, why not just get that? And uh, the people that thought, oh man, I better get this box set so I get this. Now they go, oh crap, you mean I could have just got that?
That's just it too. Yeah, you dove on that box set a little too quick, knowing that they'd break it out eventually. Have
Yeah.
you ever heard of this Lenny Kravitz album, Black and White America, from
I was
2011?
trying to think if I had the CD. I used to get a lot of his CDs. I like Lenny Kravitz, but after his 3 or 4 albums, I kind of just he faded away to me, and so I really don't know anything about the music on this one. I don't think I even had a CD of it before.
Morphine's up next, also scheduled for an October 3rd release, the 1992 debut album that introduced Morphine's unique low rock sound pressed on forest green
Yeah,
vinyl. Good price
it's only
point on that one. Yeah,
$25.
yeah,
Yeah,
good,
it is.
very good
I
price point.
I I I like 90s Morphine. I have one of their albums, and I used to have some of their CDs. It's interesting. It's not for everybody, when
No,
the saxophone is your main instrument
yep.
going on. But yeah, I actually don't mind Morphine at all. So there is some interest in that, but
That low
do I need
rock
it?
sound, what do they call it? The low rock. I dig, soul coughing I put in there too for some of that stuff. Morphine's a little more
Mhm.
drawn down than soul coughing can be, but
Yeah.
okay, New York Dolls. Now this is normally up your alley, isn't it? Also on the third, "Cause I Said So" on red vinyl.
I used to have that on CD and, played it once and filed it, and it never came out again. Now, and this is just me talking. If you love New York Dolls, this is going to be it. But to me, it's the first 2 albums. After that, they just it's rehash. It didn't excite me. The first 2 albums are great, but yeah, I had the CD, but $25, good price. I mean, Rhino does put good price points,
Yep.
except I scratch my head on David Lee Roth.
Yeah,
But
well,
the other ones, 125, okay, but it's $25 an album, so all right. Um, yeah, I
I'm
don't know.
seeing I'm seeing a lot of these front loaded for an October 3rd release, and I think they did this last time too, where they front load the first week, and I would guess it's because if there's a delay, they can still count it as Rocktober. But yeah, they're front
Mhm.
loading. Also, let's skip the Porno for Pyros for a second. Go from the New York Dolls to the Sex Pistols, because this is an album that is a great album, but I think most people are going to have this in their collection.
Yeah, and do you need it? I mean, is it well, Steven Wilson did not remix it. Let's just
No.
say that first off. It is not a Steven Wilson remix. I have a couple copies of it. I have a Japanese version of it. I don't need that. You can find them out there, but it might be an inexpensive one. But I mean, it's been reissued so many times. You can buy it, fairly cheap. So
$25 is the list price on that one, and it's coming on clear vinyl for the Nevermind the Bullocks. And I've
yeah,
gotten a good
it's one.
original on that as well too. But this could be a good price point for getting someone into it that doesn't want to shell out.
Yeah.
The originals are floating in the 30 to 50 to even more dollar range, and depending upon condition.
Yeah, it runs in it's one of my top 10 albums of all time for me.
Yep.
I love it that much, but I don't need it.
Porno for Pyro is also on the third. Their self-titled 1993 debut. This is a
Yeah.
Rhino Reserve, and I think that's not quite the hi-fi, but 180 gram at Fidelity Records pressing plant. So I guess it is the hi-fi one.
That has me. I had the CD. I liked Pure Farewell, but I have to re-listen. I'm gonna have to release some samples and go, is it something I'm really going to enjoy? Though I did buy Tori Amos, but that
Yeah,
was 20
there you
bucks.
go.
So
Moving onward,
who am I?
we're getting into some bands that I am not familiar with, but we're into some '90s stuff in this year. Also in the third, we've got Spain, the Blue Moods, the Distillers, Coral Fang, the Von Bondies with Pawn Shop Heart.
I used to have the Von Bondies in CD. I liked it. I thought that was pretty good. I played that a number of times. It didn't get filed right away. The Distillers, I had a few CDs from them. Okay, not bad, but I wasn't. God, I tried to think. Was it more almost
They're
kind of
calling it
garagey?
a new wave of punk from 2003.
Yeah, I guess it could be there. They're okay, but Von Blondies, the Bondies, whatever, what the hell? I did like that. That wasn't bad.
Okay. Let's see. Typo Negative, also on the third. The least worst of. So a quintessential greatest hits compilation from the Drab Four, including remixes,
Yeah,
edits, and several unreleased tracks. So this could be a fun one for folks that don't want to collect a ton of different Typo Negative if you want to get their greatest hits comp at $37.
yeah, I have Bloody Kisses I bought from you,
Yeah.
which was not a cheap one. But it's the one I had other typo negatives. I never listened to them a lot, but Bloody Kisses is the one, and no doubt that's on there. So
Oh, yeah. Couple from Yes, and it's their 80s stuff. 90125, a Rhino Reserve. Looks like it's on black vinyl. And Big Generator on orange vinyl, their 12th studio album. Both of those, well, Rhino Reserve is going to be a little more expensive because of the pressing quality at the Fidelity record plant, part of the new Rhino Reserve line. 32 bucks on 90125 and 25 bucks on Big Generator. This is an era of Yes that I find interesting. They tried getting a little more top 40. And I've
mhm.
got those albums and I enjoy those albums. It's just not, when you think of Yes, you think of the older, more space rock, psychedelic stuff, and not the more 80s driven, I don't even want to call it new wave, but almost pop.
Yeah, well, in 90125, I think, was their best-selling album, if
Oh,
I
yeah, yeah,
remember
it
right.
was,
It took
yes.
off.
Reached
Yeah,
number 5
and
on Billboard,
so
according to this, became their best selling album.
mhm, it made them a lot of money,
Yeah,
like
yep,
Heart.
yes,
So,
indeed.
but
Who are we
I
to
like
say?
90125 better. Yeah, who are we to say, you know? Yeah, and you can't fault a group for that.
Nope.
Well, let's make something that people wanna buy, you know? So, it's
We're not
we're
doing
gonna
this to
stick to our
please.
guns here.
We're not doing this to
Yeah,
please just these two old farts that talk about records. We want more stuff.
uh-huh.
Um, Here we go with the Dream Theater coming into the 10th now. The Yes was all on the 3rd of October. Four different Dream Theater releases coming on October 10th. Octavarium,
Yeah,
Train of Thought, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, and Systematic Chaos.
I had one Dream Theater
clear.
CD.
Yeah, all four of them on clear vinyl and all coming in at that $37 to $40 mark.
Yeah, it was a group that never a lot of people love Dream Theater. I know I've just heard people talk about them, big into them. I tried them. I didn't get into it. That was back in the 90s. Maybe if I listen to it now, suddenly I go, I get it, but I'm not going to try.
I've taken some heat for not being into Dream Theater as a Rush fan, also. So I'm there with you. Okay, Fleetwood Mac. Here's your Fleetwood Mac, but it's Tusk, which is an interesting album.
Yeah,
Translucent
it's
cobalt blue vinyl.
yeah. Tusk was for me. Some people really love it. It was a really hit or miss one for me. So it's like, but I it did very well.
Yep.
It there's some good stuff on there.
50th anniversary
Now
edition of Minstrel in the Gallery from Jethro Tull, the eighth album,
th-
released in 75.
that was the first Jethro Tull album I ever got, and I love that album to death. I mean, I truly, and $25 is a good price, but if my copy's good, why do I need another one?
Yep, but like that, like the Sex Pistols, maybe that'll introduce somebody to the Tull library.
Yeah,
Let's
and
see.
yeah, it's not Aqua Lung, that's for sure.
No. Also on the 10th, a couple from Ministry. I've never been big into these guys, but I know they're the kind of that beginning of the industrial-ish stuff.
Hmm.
So Psalm 69
Yeah,
in the mind is a terrible thing to taste.
I made the Psalm 69 has me interested. I think I had both of these on CDs, which is kind of neat. On all so much of this is I had it on CD because that's where it was available. And now, if you really like it, and Psalm 69 So many people love that one. Well, one of the best industrial. Many people will say that
Yep.
might have a. I have a glimmer of interest.
Jesus built my hot rod off of that one. Okay,
Yeah.
the next batch, also on the 10th, is a trio from Mr. Bungle. Now, these are hard to find on the OG side, and they're worth a lot of money. So this is going to be an interesting set of reissues, because I don't think that there's a
Mhm.
lot of the Mr. Bungle reissue stuff heading out there. A Northern California squad, let's see, Disco Volante, Mr. Bungle self-titled on orange, and California on ruby red translucent, Disco Volante on blue vinyl, by the way. All of these coming in at 35 bucks. I've listened to Mr. Bungle a few times, and I know folks dig them, and I've never been into them, but maybe I'll give them a bigger shot now.
I've never listened to them. I know the name. I've seen the albums out there. Their second one, theirs is the fiery second album, so that
Yes.
makes me kind of excited. It's fiery, and of course, it's in California, so well, that makes perfect sense. In
Oops, you see
California,
what they
everything's
did
on
there.
fire.
Careful.
Yep,
Stone
yep.
Temple Pilots, self-titled, their sixth studio album, showcased the band's enduring ability to craft compelling rock anthems, now celebrating a 15th anniversary. This is post when the band changed, right? After Whelan passed. I'm trying to remember if this one is where it stands in the Whelan discography.
Sixth album. Whelan was in six of their eight albums.
So
It
probably his
could
last.
be one. It might be his
Okay.
last. Yeah, I'm not absolutely positive on that one. Whelan died in 2015. Um, yeah, not 100%.
Okay. Red vinyl,
Don't know.
that could be a big one. Another Fleetwood Mac, but coming on we're on to the 17th now with Bare Trees, originally released in 72. The sixth studio album by Fleetwood Mac, and it was their last to feature Danny Kerwin, Sentimental Lady. I think it's a sleeper Fleetwood Mac album. It's a good one, but not one
Yeah,
of their ones that they're known for. It's not the absolute classic lineup.
yeah. I caught the Bob Welch Fleetwood Mac
Yes, yes.
because, and in fact, there are two hits on there, or the two songs they talk about. Bob Welch then put them onto his own solo one. Yeah, this is one of those albums again you can generally find fairly inexpensive. It's
Yep.
out there, and I like Welch's singing, but I would be just yeah, that's okay.
One of the Rhino Reserve. Then we get Adore's Greatest Hits, part of the Rhino Reserve. This on the heels of Rhino just reissuing all of the High Fidelity. The entire Doors catalog is as the High Fidelity reissues a few months back.
Hmm.
So they're filling out their Doors catalog now. Best-selling greatest hits. That could be a good one for folks to hit. 32 bucks for 10 tracks.
Yeah, for someone like me, that's the way to go. I mean, I have a couple Doors albums. I buy them for the hits.
Yep.
Yeah, Morrison was a little up and down depending on how drunk he was. So, that again, I have to see if I have it.
There you
Maybe
go.
I got it already. I don't need it. Yeah, I better check, Jim.
We're now into the 24th of October, and we get 1, 2, 3 Warren Zevons in there. These are his
Yeah.
later Mr. Bad Example, Mutineer, and Learning to Flinch. Interesting stuff. I like Zevon, but I've never been much beyond a couple of his. I don't even have
First two
Excitable Boy.
albums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transverse City was a good
I
one for me, for him.
I just bought the first two and I was satisfied. And his other stuff could be wonderful. It could be awesome, but we only have so much room,
Yep.
right?
Well,
So
these are coming in at that $25 price point. So I think that Rhino's, with the exception of the last one, looks like it's a double LP for 35. That's a live
yeah.
album. I'm sorry. Learning to Flinch is live. So, yep. Rounding out, let's see, on the 31st, yeah, they're stretching it all the way to Halloween. We get Bad Company Rock and Roll Fantasy, the very best of Bad Company. So this, I think, could be a new compilation. Not a greatest hits.
Hmm.
There's other greatest hits out there, but the very best of Bad Company spans the band's classic era from 74 to 82, featuring tracks from their groundbreaking self-titled debut through Rough Diamonds. Can't Get Enough, Bad Company, Feel Like Making Love, Shooting Star, and many more. Longtime fans, there's an extra treat, alternate versions of Easy on My Soul and See the Sunlight. So yeah, this is a newer comp, 32 bucks. That could be a
Great
fun one
price.
yeah. Faces are in here, and Ramones on the 31st doing Pet Cemetery for Halloween. A limited repress
That
of the
that
Ramones Pet Cemetery, a
yeah.
3-track 12-inch single for $19.
Oh wow, that's it. I would say at Pet Cemetery that album is like triple digits. I
Yep.
mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
goes for incredible money.
Pressed on translucent red vinyl. Let's see. Also on the 31st, here we go. Rush, the albums 2002 through 2012, a 7 LP box set featuring 3 Rush albums, Vapor Trails, Feedback, and I'm trying to think of, we lost a little bit of this, and well, Feedback, Vapor Trails, and I'd have to go back and look. I'm trying to remember what was in here. We're missing one of the albums, but yeah, this I've got these albums, and I went looking at this, Steve, and there was nothing additional or new on this that I could see.
So this isn't something you feel you're going to have to have.
No, and it's Vapor Trails, oh, and probably Test for Echo. I'm trying to think it was in there. Not in their batch. I'll look at it again and see, but I've got good original copies of those each of those 3. So
Okay, well, everyone, you heard it first. Jim may pass
I may
on a
pass on
Rush.
a Rush box set. How about the
Wow.
Stooges, an alternate Funhouse on opaque white and black vinyl for $25? An unfiltered look at their creative process, i.e., Steve, the stuff that wasn't good enough to make the final album.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like these guys were virtuosos with their instruments. I mean, that just means there's a lot going on. Was it Rhino that released that huge box set
Yep.
a few years back on Funhouse? I mean, it was 7, 8 albums of all the alternative takes, all the stuff in the studio. You could hear it all. I can't think of it as Rhino that did that or not. So, but whatever the case, yeah, you're going to hear the stuff that, yeah, it wasn't quite good enough. But if you're a big Stooges fan, I mean, I am. I don't need it,
Yep.
but for some, I'm sure they'd find it exciting.
Here's Zevon on Halloween, also with Excitable Boy and Werewolves of London. That's kind of an obligatory one.
Yep.
So that's in there. And then they round it out with 1, 2, 3 ZZ Top. I don't even want to say
Did they do these
later.
on?
What's that?
Did they? Did they do these? I mean, maybe not those. I thought DeGuelo they did before. Maybe they hadn't
Nope.
done
These
they.
are all Rhino hi-fis, Recycler, DeGuelo, and Eliminator.
Okay.
So let me turn off that. Yeah, these are the first batch of ZZ Top Hi-Fi from Rhino sounded great. They were really good reissues. So I think
Yeah.
they're going to continue with these pretty much.
Well, I like DeGuelo. Eliminator, I mean, was the big one, obviously.
Yep.
That's when they went pop too, but
Sharp Dressed Man,
they had
Legs, Give
video.
Me All Your Lovin', MTV, baby.
Yeah, it was. That was the MTV staple. Yep. Oh, that keeps going down. There's like 2 more after that.
Is there? Uh-oh.
Afterburner and El Loco.
Oh, I missed that. Oh, I did see. Okay, I see it now. Afterburner and El Loco are on there.
Yeah, El Loco is my first ZZ Top. No, actually, it was Fandango. Then I
So
bought El
a
Loco.
total of 5 ZZ Top on the 31st of August. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All of them at the $40, all of them hi-fi. There you go.
Wow.
There is your Rhino Rocktober list, Steve. I'm excited about a couple things. I'll look further into that Rush. I know Feedback is their cover album, and I'm trying to remember what else is on there after Vapor Trails, because I know that they're not going to put Snakes and Arrows out yet on that too, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll have to pull up and listen to some of those just to see, do I need it or do I need it? There we go. Our famous, do I need it? Every week. Do I need it? Of course you don't, but I want it.
Well, folks, I think that will probably do it for this episode. We went a little long, Steve, but I think we had a lot to cover in through here. Interested in your thoughts, folks, on the Rhino list? Is there something in there that you cannot live without, you need in your collection, or you want in your collection? Yeah. There's a few things that I think Steve and I will look back further as well. But also, would like to get your thoughts on the shipping situation, too. Is this something that you think is going to make it more difficult, or are you not worried and it'll work itself out?
And also, we want your thoughts on Jim chewing the old bubble gum that's 40 years old.
We'll see. I need to make sure that we have health care on hold, just in case. something happens. We'll do that on Halloween, maybe.
Now, and for those that aren't watching video and just hearing it on Spotify, if you hear, okay, well, you understand what
You
happened.
understand. I will consult with my physician next week. I have a regular appointment, and I'll ask him about eating 40-year-old bubble gum.
There we go.
All right, folks, you have been listening and or watching to Two Guys Talking About Records, a vinyl community podcast. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. We do appreciate that each and every week. So until next time, my name is Jim, and I own a record store, and I'm not going to eat bubblegum, but maybe I will.
And I am Steve, and I'm pushing for that bubble gum.
All right. Have a good week, Steve. We'll talk to you later.
You too, Jim. Bye, everyone.